or share. I will have it on screen share. So there will be quite a lot that will be pretty much my little PowerPoint presentation. So yeah, cool. There is people. Awesome. So for those that are new to Zoom, try and familiarize yourselves. We have a little chat box. There's also an option for you to raise your hand. Feel free to put any questions or anything like that that you may have in the chat box, and I will get round to those. Hopefully, time going well, but hopefully I will be able to answer the questions that you have in the terms of this. Let me see. So it's myself that's sharing. We'll go into this big presentation here. So I'm hoping you can all see the little screen that I've shared. So can Marlene, you're top of my list. You give me a wee thumbs up if you can see the screen with, yeah, awesome. So it's the course overview screen. Amanda can see that as well. Awesome, good, good, good. Just so I know that you can see it well, and I will put it down to, let me see. I will pin my camera just because why not? So there we go. So there's my camera moved. Hopefully that is enough for you all to see completely. So this is a little overview, an introduction. First of all, my name is Sean McGill and I am a psychic medium and a master tarot reader. I have been working for Spirit for a very long time, and I know that I do not look old enough to be able to do that, but I have been. I've been working for Spirit full time for I think 8 years now. It could be 7 leading into 8, or it could be 8 leading into 14. I really don't know. But I have been reading the tarot from the age of 13. Obviously not to the standard or to the level that I'm currently reading tarot. I am the only Faulkner tarot trainer in Ireland, which means that I teach the 12-week Faulkner tarot course. And I have been headhunted by Rhiannon 6 years ago. So that leads me to think that I have been working for Spirit much longer, full time. If I've been doing this course, I think I was working as a medium 2 years before I started teaching the Faulkner course. So I got my first deck of tarot whenever I was 13. And I remember it until the day God calls me. My aunt, who I used to stay with at weekends, would have given me pocket money along with her 2 kids. So she normally would have given us £10 each, and this one weekend she gave her kids £10 each, and she only had £8 in her purse, which, you know, being a 13-year-old, you're not going to say no to that. So she gave me the money, and I went to Eason's in the Westwood Centre, not that far away from where my aunt lived, and I was able to get a deck of tarot cards and the wee accompanying book for $6.99. So I had enough money to get that and a bar of chocolate. So that was obviously my weekend made. So I've been looking into the tarot and studying the tarot on an ongoing basis, because you have to. You know, you're always going to learn something from somebody. So there's a few years in my sort of teenage, early 20s that I put the cards away. I say I put them away, I didn't really put them away. I just wasn't doing readings for other people. But it's always been an interest and a passion of mine to work with the tarot, and it's the majority of my work alongside my mediumship. I love teaching. Teaching is what I do. For those that follow me on Facebook, or those that don't, you are more than welcome to. So I do sort of work with the tarot on a very regular basis, daily. I've been featured on a few different TV things, such like Psychic so far, whatever it is. I was featured as a reader there as well for a little while. So, you know, I've had a fair amount of exposure with working with the tarot. And like I say, I'm the only person in Ireland to teach an actual certified course. But I'll not give too much away on that right now, because there could be more that's going to be done. So that's my introduction, I suppose. I'm assuming that these are all cheering at your computer screens. Let me see. I'm assuming these are all cheering at your computer screens and oohing and on. Ooh, 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 how amazing I am. So we're also going to be looking at a brief history of the tarot, the major and the minor arcana, the four suits, and I'm not doing tarot readings tonight. I should have taken that out because I'm really tired. I've been doing readings all day, but I will answer any questions that you may have, time going well. So if I move on to my next little slide, which is our very blank one, the tarot that we know today, the modern tarot that we know, that has both the major and the minor arcana, that date back to the 14th century, whenever it was brought into the Western world. Older forms of the tarot date back to ancient Egypt, where they would have used only the major arcana, but they would have used them very, very differently than how they are used today. The ancient Egyptians would have used the tarot as a way to understand themselves, to understand those God-given abilities that that are in us. And they would have used the tarot to help with manifestation, prayer, meditation, all those lovely things that are God-given ability. Tarot is known as cartomancy, especially when moved into the Western world, where names like had to be translated into English, such as the Death card and the Devil card. But the reason as to why they came about is pictorially, they would still be accurate or very, very close. This is say would base it off like the IJJ Swiss or the Rider Waite. They would have been accurate to the tarot from Egypt, but the names had to be changed. And going back all those hundreds of years ago, there was no such things or words that would have been, you know, self-destruction or transition in life events. So that's why there would have been things like the death card that would have been named so for the death of a situation, rather than it meaning, you know, transitioning from one way of life to another. So that's where those things sort of come about. They don't mean an actual death. Or the devil doesn't mean the devil, you know, it would be more so vices, limitations, self-destructive behavior, all that type of stuff that would have been brought in forward. So that's where those names sort of come from. Now, the tarot has a beautiful history. It really, really does. And you can probably tell by the way I talk about it that I'm a wee bit of a nerd when it comes to the tarot, and self-proclaimed, I'm self-righteous with it. Absolutely. The tarot is my thing, and I absolutely love them and love hearing the history of them. So there is a few popular decks. There is the Rider Waite or Waite or whatever way that people say it, which is the one that you can see in the lovely little blurred images there. They are probably the most common deck based on a lot of more modern decks. Their images are based on the Rider Waite and also the IJJ Swiss. Now, if I'm to pick between the two of those, I'll have to say Rider Waite because there's more images, more detailed images in those, which are a little easier to read. With the likes of the IJJ Swiss, it has, you know, you talk about the Ace of Wands, it is literally a wand, and that's it. You know, the 10 of Wands, quite rightly so, is 10 wands. There's no images, there's no story being told. Now, one of my other favorite decks in the tarot is the Gilded Tarot. They are so beautifully designed, and I find quite easy to read for people that are maybe embarking upon this tarot journey. Then there's my absolute favorite, the creme de la creme, the Faulkner Tarot. The Faulkner Tarot is the first ever modern deck of tarot cards that use images that you find in day-to-day life to step away from like dark or scary images that you would find in more traditional tarot. But yet, you know, the tarot is the tarot. The tarot cards mean the same thing across the board. It doesn't matter what deck that you're looking at. So this is the black and white Faulkner Tarot. Here's the Chariot, which pretty much says we've got options here. We can go down road A or down road B. So this is the black and white. This is what I read from. They are out of print. But if we torture Rhiannon, she might put a wee bit more on. Here is the colour Faulkner Tarot, which is what I currently teach. And here we have the Two of Swords. We know swords can be quite a wee heavy suit, so we'll maybe look for something a wee bit better. There's Judgment. You know, this is a second chance. This is two options. So we can see that, you know, there is more modern forms of tarot. And I find that anybody that I've trained in the Faulkner Tarot, they do tend to sort of stick with the Faulkner Tarot because it does, like I say, step away from darker, scarier images that you would find in other tarot decks. So I know that I just wanted to give a little brief overview of different decks and sort of myself, I suppose, in the Faulkner Tarot. So let me just check in and see how everybody's doing. Everybody doing okay and following me okay? Awesome, that's good. That's what I like to hear. We'll get into the good, wee, juicy stuff in just a minute here. But I suppose it is always interesting, you know, finding out about who I am and what I do before I ask you all to start taking my word as gospel, I suppose. So the modern tarot that we know has two different not suits, that's not the right word. The major and the minor arcana. Now, obviously, this is just a wee hour-long seminar, and I have spent the past 15 minutes already talking about myself. So we're really going to be focusing on a brief overview of the four suits, and I do mean brief because I don't want to overload you all. I save those for my specialty courses, where you're all going to leave going, oh my god, what the hell, this is way too much. So there's the minor arcana, which is broken into four different suits, where we have cups, wands, pentacles, and swords. And each one of those suits represent a different area of our lives. So we have the cups, the wands, the pentacles, and the swords. So the first wee suit that we're going to have a wee look at very, very briefly, and then I'll go into it in maybe a wee bit more detail depending on how time goes, is the cups. So cups is our water signs. So cups is everything to do with our emotions, our feelings, and our relationships. As we can see here in, again, our lovely wee images that I have stolen off Google. I'm going to start wrapping the place here. So we can see here, there is different images that are depicting everyday life in the terms of relationships, starting with our ace, 2, 3, and so on, that will tell the story of a relationship. Now, I'm going to break that down for you in another wee bit, because I find that cups is the easiest to understand, and it's the easiest to translate to people. So cups, make your notes, cups talk about emotions and relationships. Now, every suit has 4 court cards in them. I refer to them as people cards, especially because I read a more modern deck of tarot, where you can see it, the little images along here, if you can see my mouse. We have our page, our knight, our queen, and our king. So we do have 4 people, especially in the Faulkner Tarot. We see those more so as actual people, with modern images. Like, look at our lovely King of Cups here. Like, that's a king on the throne in the middle of the ocean. Where are you going to see that in today's life? You're not really going to see that. I don't maybe think you would have seen it in the 14th century either, although I don't know. It's probably been a long time from I've had a life there. So, broadly speaking, when cups come out, we're talking about emotions, relationships, and our feelings. So that is our lovely little suit of cups. As we move on to our next suit, we have wands. So wands are a fire sign, and they are linked to our day-to-day life. Again, they're all going to start from an ace, which is our new beginning. And remember, wee things like that that I'm sharing are just little wee gold nuggets with you. So our ace is our new beginning, which moves right through to our 10, which is our completion stage. And it tells the story of our day-to-day life in between. Now, our wands I like to refer to more so as our work and our social side of life. Because what else do we do apart from go to work or go to the pub, you know? But I see those more so through my experience of doing readings over the years, that they more so heavily represent our work side and our friendships. That's where the social side comes into it. So that's our little wands. And again, our people, our page, our knight, our queen, our king, are going to be represented by anybody that falls under a fire sign. So that's another wee bit that I'm going to give you there on that one. Just like our cups, our water, and our pentacles are our earth sign. Now, I like our pentacles, I really do. They're the same thing again, ace through to 10, bang right in the middle we have our 5, and 5s we know are quite karmic and quite conflictual by number. So anything that runs with the number 5, it's going to bring a bit of conflict. It's not going to necessarily be the greatest thing. But our pentacles are our earth sign, and they cover our health and our wealth. And I know people say your health is your wealth and all that, but or your wealth is your health, sorry, but it's not really. They are surprisingly two different things. But because they are the earth and they're talking about things in this dimension, in this earth plane, then they are talking about things that we can see and we can touch. And our health is something that we can see and we can touch, if that makes sense to you. So it's not necessarily that your health is your wealth. They are two vastly different topics, and I do break this down in a lot of detail in my 12-week course. I actually cover the pentacles over 2 lessons, because it is such a big topic. So our pentacles, again, we have our people, which are going to be governed. So if say our lovely Queen of Pentacles, someone that is an earth sign, a female over the age of 30, because it's a queen, again, make notes of these things, guys, is going to be represented by this. Swiftly moving on, we are going to our swords. Swords are our earth signs, and look at the images that you see in more traditional decks. They would scare the Jesus out of anybody. They really, really would, which is why I love my little Faulkner Tarot, because they show things, yeah, maybe not so great, but no way is going to be someone lying there with swords in their back. So swords are air signs when it comes to our lovely little people. And they represent problems, troubles, and our thought processes. So this is anything to do with the air, to do with the mind, to do with the thought, is all represented within this suit. So are you all following me okay? Now I do want to show you the absolute difference here. You can see our lovely 10 of swords right down here. So I'm going to stop the little screen share for just a moment. I'm going to make me the main speaker because it's all about me, guys, isn't it? Yes, it is. And no one's put in the chat box how handsome I am, so I might fall out with you, as you know. But here we have the 10 of swords in the Faulkner Tarot. Now this is a core difference from someone lying there with 10 swords in their back. I don't know about yous, but someone that's going for their first reading and they see that card is going to think, oh my God, what is going on? Where here, the sense of turmoil or, hitting rock bottom, you can see it depicted in a much different way. Where here we have a wee digger. I don't know, I'm not the type of guy that would really understand things like this. A tractor, a digger that's doing a bit of groundwork. So, rather than being knocked on the ground, here we are here, and it's showing you that we've demolished it rather than the absolute scariness from the other ones. Now, here we have the Ace of Swords in the Faulkner Tarot. And with the Ace of Swords here, well, sure, look at this. As we know, aces across the board, they're new beginnings. So with our new beginnings, our Aces of Swords, so we're going to have to try and translate those together. Talks about problems, troubles, difficulties, thought processes. So our Ace of Swords would naturally talk about a new beginning that maybe we feel a little bit apprehensive about, a little bit afraid of, and a little bit worried, but we're supported. You know, as you can see there, there's someone skydiving. Who's gonna love that? Me, probably, to be fair. I would be like, no, don't need anyone strapped on me. Do it myself. It's my first time. But most people aren't as crazy as me, you know. And here we can see that so strongly. Um, with our Ace of Swords, yes, it's a scary new thing, but you know what it is? We're supported. It's a new chapter because it is an Ace of Wands. So I am just flicking through to get a few of my little Cups cards out from my Faulkner Tarot, and I'm going to tell you the story of Cups. Now, don't forget, guys, this is just a little introduction seminar. This is to get you a wee bit of a feeling about me, what I do, and hopefully I'm able to explain the tarot to you in such a way that it's going to spark a little bit more of an interest for you to possibly embark upon your own journey within the tarot. And you know, you mightn't like me as a teacher, as a mentor. Don't know why, I'm incredibly handsome. But you know, you mightn't really choose for me to be your mentor, and that's okay. But at least this way, I know that you are being armed with good information for you to make a good informed decision. Because what I keep seeing time and time again, which really does my head in, is people read the tarot and they just say what they feel on the cards. And guys, that is not correct. You know, that's not how tarot is supposed to be read. Tarot cards have meanings, and those meanings are the same across the board. It does not matter what deck you're reading from. It does not matter anything. The Fool in the tarot means a new beginning. That's it. No, there's more to it than that. But, you know, the Fool means a new beginning. The Fool does not mean someone's having problems in their relationship. The Fool is the Fool, and that's it. You know, probably maybe should have picked a different card rather than sitting here calling the Fool. So, tarot have meanings. Now, those meanings don't change, but they become flexible. They become bendable. That then you can begin to adapt and to change ever so slightly what you're talking about to suit the topic or to suit what else they come across. Now, here's another card that fell out. This is the Empress. Okay, so the Empress across the board, this is the Mother card. But this card also means material success. Now, the Gypsy meaning of this card, pregnancy. This card does not mean the beginning of a new relationship at all. This does not mean, it could mean business because it does have that material benefit that comes with it. But this card means what this card means. And that is just the way that the tarot is. They have their meanings. That's why you can pick up several different workbooks and they will tell you all the same thing. The tarot have meanings. And that is the difference between an accurate tarot reader and an intuitive reader. Now, there's nothing wrong with intuitive reading in any way, shape, or form. It's part of my job. There is nothing wrong with giving intuitive readings, psychic readings. I use my psychic abilities. I use my guides along with my tarot readings. But this is always going to mean the same thing. Do you understand? And that's why tarot needs time to be invested in learning it, in studying it, in understanding the tarot. Because this wee card absolutely could mean material benefits, could mean pregnancy, could mean problems with your mum, Who really knows? But if this card is to fall out next to our 10 of Pentacles, which means success, material success, then this card no longer means mother. Then we are taking, because they're falling side by side next to our Pentacles. So now this is talking all about the earthly stuff with that. So this is telling me that there is success. You're going to finish that job. You're going to complete that project, and you're going to reap the material benefits from it. Nowhere is this telling me anything different. Now, I can interpret these cards in 14 different ways. Please understand that. So say I'm looking at them this way. Then I'm going with the mother card. So that's the Empress that is coming in first, next to the 10 of Pentacles. So this is also going to tell me that your mum is going to come into some money. So everybody ring your mum and make sure she's coming into money. Ring my mum and see if she's coming into money. But you see how those meanings are the same. So there needs to be a good understanding with the tarot. And my students are probably sick to the back teeth of hearing me going on about it. But tarot's my thing. Tarot's my passion. I love the tarot. And I want people to make sure that they are reading the tarot correctly. Because you don't want to just be intuitively reading and going, oh, well, I'm looking at that wee card there, and I feel like this is telling me, you know, you're going to get a new job. All right, but what's backing that up? And why is it falling next to the Lovers? Because then that's going to suggest that there's stuff going on emotionally, nothing to do with the job. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Okay, because again, the tarot have meaning. I can see James is going, oh God, here he goes, he's off on one. The tarot, they do have meaning, and they will tend to be the same or change the theme of the cards next to them. So say, for example, we start off our reading and we're putting 3 cards out. And our first one is Cups. And then we have Pentacles and Wands that fall out beside that. So we know Cups is our emotion side of life. It's our relationship side of life. Like, look at that. How can it be anything other than it? You know? And then the next wee one that falls out is maybe going to be, we'll just make it a bit more complicated. Well, it's going to be the Emperor. And then we'll have the Swords. So I know now everything that I'm talking about, despite the Emperor being the businessman, we're not talking about that anymore. We're now adopting that so that the meaning flows with emotions. So this is no longer business. This is talking about work in a relationship, because we have our 3 of Swords, which talks about our problems, our troubles, our thought processes. So this is telling me, okay, there's a relationship that we're talking about here. And I know that he's maybe being a wee bit of an arse because it's the Emperor, not the Empress. So I know that my client, say, is female. I'll be like, okay, so I know that you're in a relationship. I know that your man, he's a good man, because we've got to give them some credit, ladies, we really do. I know that he's a good man, but at the same time, he's being a bit of a pain to you, and you're not feeling things very well. So you see how, rather than going, okay, so there's a relationship and you're going to get a new job and I feel like your head's done in, you know, because that's going to leave people scratching their head, pulling their hair out, and they're going to end up older than me. So at least this way, things start to tie in together. Your readings start to flow a little bit more whenever you can tie your cards in together. Now, I go into things like that in much more detail. Obviously, we're over the 30-minute mark already, and I still haven't even got the Cups out. But obviously, I go into things like that in much more detail in the likes of my 12-week course or my specialty courses that I run, because time's finite, and I still haven't had my dinner yet. So I am going to give you a brief overview of the Cups, and I want you to have a wee think about any questions that you may have about where you are at on your own little tarot journey. Does that make sense to you, is what I've said? If there's any troubleshooting, so we'll call it that I can maybe help clear up for you a little bit. So have a wee think of those. You can put them into the chat box. If you don't have any questions, that's cool. It means I can get my dinner a little bit earlier. Wouldn't it be really nice and ring my mummy? Will she make me dinner? Of course she won't. So our cups run in a story from ace to 10. So all aces are new beginnings. As we can see here with our beautiful ace of cups, we have a rose in bloom. So all our relationship runs in cycles. There's cycles within cycles, there's cycles that are constantly going on. So it always goes in cycles. So I'm going to use this ace as we've just met somebody online. As I silly shouted out at my demonstration on Saturday, Grindr. Probably shouldn't have done that, but anyway. So this is our meeting someone on Grindr or Tumblr. No, that plenty of fish for all the ladies out there. There we go. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to see the 10 as getting married. So I'm going to condense our relationship down very, very quickly. So aces across the board are new beginnings. So this is, we've met somebody, we've been chatting to them. Don't forget, it's 2020 at the end of the day. Not everybody meets in, little bakeries and fall madly in love. Sometimes we've got to weed them out online or out drinking, whatever it may be. So this is where we meet somebody, and this is the stage where we're getting to know them. Now, it mightn't necessarily be dating officially, because that is what comes at our Two of Cups stage. This is, okay, we're happy, we're a wee bit loved up. I don't know how it goes on most people, but I normally fall in love after 20 minutes. So I move from the ace to the 2 very, very quickly. So I do know that it does move on to the 2, which is not quite committed in the terms of, ball and chain, but it is talking about, we're making that commitment that we're maybe going to be exclusive, because I think that's how the kids say it these days. I really don't know. So I know that this is the 2. This is the fun stage. This is the really getting to know that person on a very intimate level, and getting to suss them out. And say, just for the talk's sakes, we'll go with we'll like them rather than we don't like them, because it'll just make my job easier for the next 10 minutes. So then comes the commitment. Now, obviously, when the Tara were made, they didn't really have 2020 in mind. Where, we meet someone, we like them, we get engaged, we get married, we have babies. And so things are a wee bit different these days, which is what we now got to take into consideration. So this is that being exclusive, that making that commitment to one another. So this is moving a few months down the line. This is the honeymoon period. This is, things are all lovely, and they're the best thing from you have discovered my webinars. Maybe they're the second best thing from discovering my webinars. How does that sound better? Yeah. So this is the first 6 months to a year, really. Although if you're me, you fall in love after 2 months. You don't wait 6 months, and then you're already gone. So, but not most people are like me. So this is the first 6 months to a year. It's all lovely. It's all great. He stops going to the gym after work, stops going to the pub on a Friday, makes sure that he's there for her. She's always dolled up and always has a sandwich ready for him coming in, because we're men and we like sandwiches. So, that's the wee tip for you there, ladies, from me to you. If you ever see us upset or annoyed, make us a sandwich. That'll make us forget everything. I'm having flashbacks to the Facebook Live I done last night. Really should have done that. Our Four of Cups. So this is, we're feeling a little bit, the communication isn't flowing at this stage. He starts going to the pub on a Friday after work. She's getting a bit annoyed, going, well, he used to do this and he used to do that. She stopped making him sandwiches whenever he comes in from work. And, neither one of them are making an effort, because they've got too comfortable, because relationships need to be worked at. I hate that saying that, a good relationship requires no work. I'm like, no, they do. Now, obviously, I'm a single person. but I know that a lot of people out there will understand that your significant other, your enjoyable other, probably does your head in sometimes. And it does take that wee bit of work, no matter how much you love them and how long you've been together. So this is, don't be getting too comfortable. I'm just making a sandwich to confuse everything. So this is our leads on to our 5 of cups. And remember, our 5s across the boards are very, very conflictual. They are arguments. They are not being entirely happy with where you are. And this is at this stage where we start to internalize things, where we start going, should I stay or should I go? This is where we start maybe looking at what's ahead instead of comparing what's behind. Will I be happy if I leave? This is where the fights and the arguments come at this stage, the 5. Which leads in to lower moods. I hate using the word depression, but it's a very real thing. So our 6 of cups, it's not looking back. And when we're looking back, we're not present. And when we are looking back, we're feeling a bit of discontentment. And this is what comes along with this card. Things were different then. I remember he wouldn't go to the pub. And I remember I used to put my lipstick on and make him a sandwich. You know, can you tell I'm hungry? So I know that this is what comes with this one. This is the card of depression. You know, this is what this card means, guys. So again, what comes on from this is learning to express and talk about how we feel. And that is usually a big screaming match for some people, or it's that light bulb moment of, aha, I know what the problem is. Now, this wee card, this is the card of confusion, but it's also the godsend card. This is where we have that moment, that revelation, where we go, oh, I know how to fix this. I know what we need to do to work forward. So this card carries an awful lot of communication with it, because 7s do. 7s carry that communication. Again, another wee golden nugget for you. So 7s carry that communication. So whenever we move on from the communication, we make the decision. Do I stay? Do I go? Is this worth the work? Or should I be on my lonesome? We can see there, bags packed and on we go. Now this card, I'm going to see it as, rather than we're leaving the relationship, we're going to work at it. So what we're going to do is we're going to move in together. We've figured out the problem, we've got to the root cause of it, and we've decided, you're totally right, there needs to be time that needs to be made here. We need to start making more time for us, get it back to where we were at the 2 and the 3 stage. And then this is the card of action. We take affirmative action, which moves us in to our lovely 9 card. This is the wishes coming true. So this is the happy times. This is those really good, lovely times going on there where we're very much happy, we're in love, we're content, but we know that there's more ahead. This card does signify wishes coming true. All that hard work that we put in at the 5, 6, 7, 8, to sound like I'm counting these in the dance, don't I? This is the card where it's all paying off for you. And this is the fantastic card. You know, it does mean babies as well, but we're going to leave that for another class. And then that moves into the 10. We're so happy, so in love, very much committed to one another. So you can see the cycles that come through relationships with our wee ace and our 10. So say we see the 10 that we're gonna, that's it, we've got the house, we're moving in together. Then we start right back down at the ace, but I'm not gonna bore you all by doing it all again. We start right back around at the ace of cups. The ace of cups is our new beginning. We've got that new house, and oh my God, we love each other so much. We have our own space. We have our own time together. We definitely make a lot of time for one another. I've popped the question, happy days, she loves me so, so much. He's doing my head in. He pisses all over the toilet seat. He leaves his whack towels all over the bed. I can take a telling to pick his towels up, she still won't make me a sandwich. So you see how the things repeat. Now, obviously, I've used the meanings of them very, very broadly because they are flexible and because I've spent so much time studying the tarot, doing tarot readings. This is the things that you can learn from me is, okay, this is the meanings, this is our keywords, this is our gypsy meanings. Now let's have fun with it. Although I dare say I probably made a few students cry in the time, but apparently I just do that. So that Aving's laughing, she's well aware. That is a brief introduction to the tarot, guys. Very, very much so. I wanted to very much dip your toes into this path, this puddle that is the tarot, and let you see that they're nothing that is overly mystical, overly sort of scary. You don't need to be an oracle, but the tarot have meanings. And fair play to anybody that gets a deck of tarot cards and reads them. Absolutely. You want to understand the tarot, though. They are a discipline in themselves. That's why my course is 3 months long, 12 weeks, with me once a week, and also all the homework that you need to do as well. And any student that I have trained, they then spend a few months afterwards doing practice readings, building up the confidence. So you're talking a little while. There's also students that have got it from right out the gate and boom, they go at the 3 month mark. But I still research the tarot. I still study the tarot. I still make notes of all these new things that I'm seeing again and again and again in readings. Because again, it's a brand new age that we live in. And that's why I've started designing specialty courses outside of the Faulkner Tarot to teach these things, to teach these modern meanings that I've now seen to be true. So if anyone is interested in that, I'll tell you about it in a wee bit, I suppose, I'm out of breath. So the cups, the wands, the swords, the pentacles, they're all minor arcana. The major arcana is very, very big, and I cannot get into that in an hour or 2 hours, believe you me. The major cards depict the big things in your life, hence the name major. Now, there is also minor cards that will depict things such as marriage, which would be a big life event, or buying a house, 10 of Pentacles. So there is minor cards that will depict major life events. But what I want to say to everybody is do not underestimate the severity of the major cards, such as, the devil. Don't underestimate the severity that comes along with that. Because when that falls out in a reading, I know my client is being self-destructive. And I don't mean self-destructive in the terms that, oh, they're smoking a few cigarettes. It's much, much worse than that. Now, obviously the devil card's not a bad card, because I see it as my opportunity to give my client a wee bit of a boot in the backside, to knock us in the head. Now, obviously, that was only one meaning of the devil that I used there in that example. But say it could be something like the hanged man. Okay, yes, the hanged man does mean patience. Absolutely. But the need for it is very real when that comes out. We have the 4 of Cups that I just covered with you, which would suggest this relationship requires a bit of attention. But if the Temperance comes out, the Temperance far, far, far outweighs the 4 of Cups, because the Temperance is a relationship that requires immediate attention because it's on the wrong path. So that's why, having an understanding of what the tarot means more so than the images and what your interpretation of those images, because the tarot are the tool that your guides are going to use, and hopefully you have that frame of reference. to get across the right message. Now, the temperance card, to my knowledge, does not depict what the card means very, very well. So if people are going to start interpreting, things like the yellow that's in it, or the pouring out of water, isn't that the correct one I'm talking about from the big jar? Obviously people are going to be saying things, oh, like, you need to look after your emotions a little bit. This is a learning experience for you. This is a relationship that requires immediate attention because it's all over the place. Whether it be romantic or business or family, a relationship requires immediate attention. And getting that from that image, in my opinion, is kind of hard. So that's why adequate training, I find, is very, very important. Now, I'm not saying that everybody has to run and sign up to my 12-week course, because I'm not starting one just at the minute. So, nor am I saying that I'm the best out there. I'll let you guys say that for me. But, I do believe in training 100%. If that means that you're going to spend 20 minutes every day studying a card, that's going to be good, in my opinion. But it's kind of like I teach my developing mediums. I'm the medium. You're developing. I have information that I can share through my experience and through my work. And that's why having a good mentor that isn't, I'm the best and listen to what I say. I hope I don't come across like that when I'm teaching. Aileen's probably going to say yes. But I hope I will. But, it is very important to learn from someone that has the experience, that has the knowledge, and most importantly, has the passion for it, that doesn't see it as just something to make money. So I hope that I'm giving you a bit of an understanding in your tarot training. What makes my training different is mine is live and interactive. I'm interacting with you. I'm not sending you out pre-recorded videos. I want to make sure I'm in the thick of it with you. And there's so many other courses out there. Learn to read the tarot in 5 videos. And I'm like, what? How? Like, that is not possible. It may be, but you're not going to get a lot from it because everybody learns differently. And that's the benefit of me having my details behind me, is that I can understand how different people learn. And the interactive hands-on, whether I'm shouting at you or not, is going to be something that is going to be of benefit for you. But I hope that I have given you a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of information on these different suits. And I do have a specialty course coming up next week, which is my specialty course, which is using the tarot for personal use or personal development. Over this course, we will be looking at the people cards, using star signs as actual people. I will be breaking down the wands and the cups in much, much more detail than I've given the cups out today. And you'll be learning how to use these 2 suits and the people cards to break down personal and work relationships. Plus, you'll also have the meanings that you can then apply and adapt into your readings. Because what I'll be giving you will be correct, accurate, and true meanings of them. And this course lasts 2 to 3 hours. And it's all done online. If anyone is interested in that, you can let me know. It's going to be, I think, next Thursday. I will pop it all in an email and send it to you. And it is only $9.99 for that little course because it's my specialty course. That's one of a few that I teach. This is my most fun one, I have to say, that I do teach that wee one. And I know I've had a few people from my last webinar, this wee one, that were interested in it. And I'm like, I've just bought a new laptop, I have to make everything again. Turns out you can file transfer very easily. I did not know that. now I do. So if anyone is interested in that, I will send it out in an email. It's a pretty full-on, intense course. Sometimes it lasts the 3 hours on the button, and there will be a chance for practical within that as well. But I always say that you always learn from people. You'll learn something, and hopefully you're able to take away something from this evening and give you a wee bit more confidence, a wee bit more understanding of the tarot, and hopefully you will be embarking on a journey with the tarot. And I do find that, using the tarot for self-development, it is the tarot's original reason why they were created, which is something that a lot of people don't understand anymore. So that's why I really had the urge to create that course when I did. So it's my little specialty course. Like I said, I will pop it in an email for you guys. But I'm completely out of breath. So who has any questions that they would like to ask? Awesome. I can see the wheels turning with Yvonne, but I'm having a wee chat with her in a bit anyway, so she can ask questions there. So that is awesome, guys. I really do hope that you have enjoyed this little seminar. And look, I'm just under an hour as well. I'm so proud of myself. So that is cool. I'm going to stop the recording.